Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Think Future. My name is Chris Calabucas, and once again, we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. Deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. We're talking innovation startups of the future, not necessarily those, and not necessarily in that order. If you're watching on YouTube, smack that subscribe button and hit that bell so you can be notified when a new show comes online. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast service, please subscribe and please drop a note on Apple Podcasts. I greatly appreciate it. Now, I hate when this happens. I really hate when this happens because this happened back when podcasting was coined as a term. Now, this happens all the time, and you're probably going, what are you talking about, Chris? Okay, so what it is that we take something that's pretty obvious and straightforward and clear, and it's been around forever, years. And then we give it a new name to make it sound new and different and snazzy, and maybe we use it to get more investors, because people won't invest in something like radio. Radio is an old technology. It's an old technology. Who would invest in radio? God, radio, it's for old people. No one even listens to the radio. Who wants radio? But don't you think podcasting is basically radio. Basically radio you can download. But no, somebody came up with the term. I think it was, I forget the gentleman's name, ex-VJ for MTV. Adam Curry, that's right. So in 2005, I worked with them, with a bunch of podcasters at Tommy's Joint in San Francisco, and we had the first podcasters meetup, and we started talking to each other about audio and how we could do audio, because at that time podcasting was only audio, and we thought this was so great. This is such a cool thing that we're doing, because we're giving the power back to the people. We're allowing people to create their own radio programs, but then we're calling it a podcast to make it sound cool and interesting and new and different, even though it was just a downloadable radio show, right? And that's what we do. I don't know why we do it. I think the reason why we do it is that we're trying to repackage or reframe or remarket things that have been around forever and are associated with some other time, and we're trying to come up with a new way of presenting them, which requires explanation, because people are like, podcast? What the heck's a podcast? I don't know what podcasting is. Podcasting is really weird. So it's a new thing that could be invested. You're not going to invest. You cannot have people invest in radio. I'm going to do a radio show. In fact, if you go to Apple Podcasts and look at all the podcasts on there, how many of them actually say so-and-so radio, even though that's what they are. They are downloadable radio programs. And nowadays, they're not even downloadable anymore. Most of the time, people stream, because internet's gotten to the point now where everything is streaming. So the whole concept of a podcast is gone. They are internet radio episodes that anybody can listen to anytime they want, on demand. So that was podcasting. But here we go with another one. Here we go, the brand new one. And I've talked about this before, but I didn't give it this term. So, do you remember back in the olden days when people had multiple jobs because they couldn't make ends meet? We treated them with sadness. We said, oh no, poor so-and-so. They can't afford to survive, so they need to hold down 2 jobs or 3 jobs or 4 jobs or 5 jobs. And I said at one point that, we were looking at those people with disdain, because they go, well, they can't make enough money from one job, so they have to have more than one job. And I made the suggestion that is our future. Our future is that we won't have a single job. The whole concept of having a single job or one type of job or working for one company your entire life, well, first of all, that's gone. The longest time anybody stays as a company is about 2 years. 2 years is about the average amount of time that people spend at companies, unless their job changes. And if you think about it, it takes about that much time to get used to a position and into the role and fix any major problems that were there already. And by the time those 2 years are up, it's not a challenge anymore. And you can move to another role within the organization, or you can move to another organization. But I said at the time that people will want to have more than one job. People will want to have more than one job. And in some cases, it won't be because they can't afford it. It'll be because they don't want to spend all of their time doing a single thing. They want the variety in their lives. They might have a full-time job which gives them benefits, but then they do Uber on the side, or DoorDash, or Upwork, or whatever. They have side hustles. They got side gigs. They got other things that they want to do. So they do multiple jobs. And some people are doing it out of necessity because they can't afford to, and some people are doing it out of joy. They like doing these other jobs. They like to talk to people. So maybe they pick up a side hustle as a barista at Starbucks or something like that. I don't know. I'm just saying that we're going into a period, which I'd predicted, that people are going to have multiple jobs. They're going to be working multiple jobs. And not only is it going to be a good thing, it'll be something people will want to do. And not just because they're going to be making extra money, it's because they'll have more exposure to other things. Now, some companies out there will say, oh no, that's terrible. We don't want that sort of thing. We don't want our employees doing multiple things. We want them focused 100% on their role at our company. And I have to say to you, that is old school thinking. Because if you think about it, people who are exposed to other things at the same time as they're working for you can bring those new ideas into your organization. It's almost like having a consultant on the payroll. Because if they're being exposed to other new innovative things, juxtapositions that you may not have been able to provide to them in your organization, then you will benefit out of that. In fact, all of those employers will benefit out of the additional experience that they're going to be gaining outside of your organization, and they can bring it to bear within your company. So we shouldn't be saying to people, don't focus on other jobs, don't focus on other things, only focus on us. We should be saying to people, focus on us, but if there's other things that you are experiencing at the same time in other organizations, as long as they're not competing, which is understandable, then bring those ideas in. We want to hear your ideas. We want you to bring in experiences from other organizations. Why do you hire somebody with this list of experience, but then expect them to stop getting that other experience as soon as they got on board with your company? No, that's what I'm saying, is that people will have multiple jobs. People will want multiple jobs, and not just because they need more money. And people will enjoy the multiple jobs that they have, and companies should understand that having multiple jobs nowadays is not a bad thing. So here we go again. So, like I said, there's plenty of people who've held down multiple jobs throughout history. But no, we have to come up with a new term for it. Polyworking. That's right, folks. Polyworking. So now we have millennials and Gen Zs and Zoomers and Zalphas out there polyworking. Polyworking because they can't afford to live where they're living on the salary that they have. And polyworking because they enjoy working on other things at the same time. They enjoy having a number of different jobs. Polyworking is the future. We will be polyworking no matter what you think. I mean, even if you have a steady role at an organization, which takes up your time, there's probably things you'd like to do on the side as well. So I don't think we should be discouraging it. I think we should be encouraging our employees to be happy. And if it makes them happy to polywork, if it makes them happy, if it brings them more money to polywork, and they enjoy polyworking, then let them polywork. That's it for me for today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.